Signs that someone is emotional dumping on you. I think that this has happened to just about everybody. It has seemed to happen to me a bunch in my life with different people, and you've got to know what emotional dumping is, you've got to know what the signs are, and you've got to know how to stop it. So this is such a big topic that we're doing it as a two-part series. So this is part number 1, and make sure that you're subscribed to our channel. Go ahead and check. Click the subscribe button and then click that little bell. What the bell does is it will just put us in your feed, and it'll give you a notification when we drop part 2 next week. Okay, so today we're talking about the signs of emotional dumping. Are you the victim of someone backing up their emotional dump truck and just covering you in all of their trash that's in there? We're going to explore that in just a moment.
GILD Coaching. More success, less stress.
Emotional dumping is a big problem. It means that you have a relationship with someone and they use you to vent out all their problems on, and then they just kind of disappear for a while. So I'm going to tell you the signs of emotional dumping in case you're like, hey, that sounds kind of familiar. I have a friend who's kind of like that and it never feels good. Get out a pen, get out some paper, take some notes. If you can't take notes, open up the comments section here, take notes here, because we're really going to dig in and figure out if this is happening in your life. And then during part 2, in 1 week's time, we're going to drop another video about emotional dumping and tell you how you can advocate for yourself and stop being the emotional dumping landfill. How you can stop just taking it all on. Okay, so emotional dumping is probably going on if you have friends that seem like they're more trouble than they're worth. If you seem like you're exhausted when you are interacting with these people, if it seems like it's kind of a one-way street, those are the initial signs that you might be a victim of emotional dumping. So get your pen, get your paper. We're going to go through the 4 signs, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what you can do just in these next few days until our next video drops. Okay, sign number 1. There's no space for your shares. Have you ever had one of those conversations? Somebody comes and they need you. Oh, you know, this is going on with my husband and the situation's so bad, blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, yeah, hey, let me share some stuff with you. Oh, that's the doorbell. Bye. It's not okay. Conversations always seem to go back to them and their issues, even if they show up for you. Hey, how's your day going? Great. Or those people, this is a really, really big tool for emotional dumpers. They'll ask you a question so that they can tell you their answer to the question. I overheard a phone call. I was not eavesdropping. I overheard a phone call the other day between 2 people, one who's not super crazy about the other one right now because the other one is an emotional dumper. And this other person said, hey, well, how was your weekend? And the emotional dumpy was like, it was good. It was good. Was quiet. Did not ask about the other person's weekend because she really did. She knew that question only came because this other guy just wanted to talk about himself. And he was like, well, I went out of town and like talked about the city where he went. And she said, oh, that's nice. And then he just kind of sat there. And then all of a sudden he just started dumping. And then this happened, and 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 this happened. You know, this person is getting sick of being emotionally dumped on. So that's why she wasn't extraordinarily responsive, because she sees that the conversation always goes back to the other person, his issues, his desires, things that he wants to focus on, and things of that nature. So number 1 sign is that there's no space for your shares. Something always seems to happen. It's very, very imbalanced, like a teeter-totter, a seesaw. You got people on there about the same weight. It'll stay in the middle, but you've got somebody who weighs a lot more than the other. And so if your conversations feel like that, then it's probably emotional dumping. Sign number 2, if this person comes to you and vents and complains without checking in to see how you're doing first, That's definitely emotional dumping. So let's think about this. Let's say you and I are friends and I've just had a horrible day. Let's just say it was one of those days where you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you don't reset your mindset to go back to the right side of the bed, and everything just kind of goes wrong. You get every red light and people cancel on you, and maybe you stubbed your toe, and just, it's just a bad day. Let's say that we get on the phone and you're like, hey Jane, how's your day? And I'm just like, bad. Bad. Suck. It was terrible. And you're like, woo! Right? That would be emotional dumping. What I should do, if I'm going to share, which I don't vent, but because it doesn't do any good, and again, we'll have another video on that in a couple weeks. But what I should do is say, my day's been rough. How are you doing? I'm not sure that I want to dump all this on you if you're also not having a good day. How about that? That wouldn't be emotional dumping. That would be sharing between friends. Oh, I had a bad day too. Oh, you did? Let's just love on each other. We don't need to know all the details. We can share a little bit. Or if the other person says, oh, I had a bad day too, that's my turn to be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to burden you with this. So the four steps. Number one, four signs. Number one, no space for your shares. Number two, venting and complaining without checking in. Number three, they tend to repeat issues or problems that they don't ever ask for solutions for. So if you have a problem and you're just talking about the problem and talking about the problem and talking about the problem and talking about the problem, and the next time they're talking about the problem and they haven't taken any action and they don't want any solutions, they literally are using you. And they could just go stand in front of a brick wall and do the same thing. The only difference is that you're absorbing that energy, which is why you feel exhausted after you talk to them, okay? So there's no space for your shares. They're venting and complaining without checking on you. They're repeating problems and they're not open to solutions. And if you give a solution, this is like a big sign. If you give a solution, they immediately find why that won't work. Nope, not gonna work. All right, and sign number 4, the conversation is always one way. It's not reciprocal, it's not open, it's not grounding. Your body might end up feeling tense, like that conversation that I overheard. The person on my side of the conversation that I was with, she had this on speakerphone. I could just see her just tense up. Everything was tense. She was frustrated and she wished that she could just hang up. That wouldn't have been a positive choice, but that is where she was. So total one-way conversations, no openness. If you are the victim of this, it means that you have someone who's using you. They might not realize that they're using you, so please don't end this video hearing, Dr. Jane told me to go and chew this person out for using me. No, we're going to talk about what you can do next week. But, in the meantime, I'll encourage you to just think about how it makes you feel and whether this is a relationship that you want to invest in to improve, or whether this is a relationship that you believe that you should release. That's a huge decision, but that really is your homework now that you know that you're being emotionally dumped on because one or more of these signs is clearly evident in your conversation. So right now you just need to figure out how this makes you feel. Does it benefit your life in any way? Is it helping you grow? Is it helping you positively influence anything in the world? Or is this something that doesn't serve you? And you've got a little bit of time to think about that, and I'll see you next week for part 2. Do make sure that you've hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you know when that next video drops, and I'll see you then.